Hello, welcome. My name is Tim McKay. I'm with Alleviated Risk LLC. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about artificial intelligence. And one of the things I wanted to walk you through is I'm going to give you a little bit of, I was doing a little research this morning. So I started off with kind of the idea I wanted to get my AI tool that we've built in-house, and hosting in-house, to answer some questions for me. I wanted to understand, with the marketing I'm doing to get my message out, how can I do that better? So I wanted to leverage AI. I wanted to figure out, okay, maybe I'm not using the right number of touch points in a sequence so that I'm warming up and I'm introducing myself in a good way. So I wanted to use AI to give me some ideas about how to approach that. Now, what we're seeing on the screen here is an AI platform that we've deployed in house. We're very sensitive here at Alleviated Risk about business risks, and one of those risks I feel are the risk of data that's coming into my organization doesn't get misappropriated somehow. And so we've heard so many stories of data breaches these days. One of the things I feel very strongly about is data privacy. I feel like it's important. I feel like that's a high need, especially in this world of AI. And as much as you can go into, for example, I'm not just picking on them, but there's ChatGPT is the most popular one that I hear people discussing. You can go in there, and there are settings you can enhance your privacy, turn off the ability for them to learn from the content you're uploading, and certain information you load in there is deemed private for your own account. But I just don't know that. What if, like if I send it out through the internet, ChatGPT, cloud, all these other ones, they live on the cloud. I just don't know when I send stuff out, is it going to be for sure private? I don't have control. If I have a server that's gone run amok, I can shut it off. I can't shut off ChatGPT. It's out of my hands. So I want to have full control, or at least maintain the illusion or perception of full control. So for me, what that means is we've built our own infrastructure to host and produce artificial intelligence learning, language learning models in our own infrastructure. So at least I feel like if it's not going to the internet, we have more control. We have more say about who's seeing it and who's not. To that end, our business is to make ourselves known to other businesses who may or may not be on the market to sell their business, and to help them build an understanding of how they can go from maybe a desire or a early plan to realizing the exit of their business, and kind of any step in between. So one of the things I'm trying to do is reach out to people who've never heard of me. One of the ways I'm doing that is through emails. One of the ways I'm doing that is through a series of email contacts. And what I wanted to do was reevaluate and kind of do a side test to kind of get AI to give me some ideas about maybe changing the number of touch points I go through, and maybe helping to put a better cadence of information so that I'm encouraging people that are warming up to who Tim McKay is, who Alleviated Risk is, so they understand where we're coming from, what we're trying to accomplish, how we're trying to accomplish that, adding that value to a business owner. So to that end, I started in this chat this morning on my server, and then it kind of evolved. And it turned into something kind of interesting that I think you'll find a lot of value in, so I hope you stick around to watch the rest of this. But I'm going to walk through the narrative of what happened in this chat sequence and how it worked. So if you're not familiar with these chat GPTs or AI, one of the ways that is very, very common is think of it like a conversation. So you say something to the system, it will take what you said and analyze it and try to produce a response that's credible and worthwhile for answering your inquiry. So when you've developed that conversation, what's going to do is it's going to learn from even what you said, so that it can enhance your response. So in this kind of system, I can also upload a file, and so it can read that file, understand what's in it, and that will fine tune how it's going to respond to you going forward in that conversation. So let's dive into this now. And I'll kind of go through this a little bit paced, but then I want to jump in and do a kind of a little more of a technical demonstration about. I just want to see how this is going to go, because I'm kind of excited to see that part. But briefly, I start this conversation by introducing the conversation to set the context of how this engine is going to tell me further answers. So I set the persona, if you will, for the AI. I tell it, you are an outbound email marketer. So then it recognizes that. Hello, I'm here to help you with your outbound email marketing questions. Please go ahead and ask your question. Okay, great. I am a business investor looking to find business owners who are interested in selling their small business. What is a good number of outbound emails to warm up an owner of a small business? I didn't even put a question mark, but it knows what I mean. So it came through and it did kind of give me a good textbook answer, and that was okay. I was like, okay, that's great. Start with a small list, gradually grow, blah, blah, blah. Fine. But one part that I kind of twigged on, I saw this phrase here, aim for a response rate of around 2 to 5%. So I wanted to know if that meant, what did it mean by that? Because I know my stats are higher than that, so I just want to understand, am I excelling by a long shot, or am I misunderstanding what they're saying? So I highlighted it. It gives me an option. There's a button here. It's kind of hard to see. It says explain. All right. And then I give that as the input, and it kind of gives me an answer here. Sure. And then it just goes in and describes that, basically if you get 100 emails, you should get 2 to 5 people responding. And what's kind of neat about it is that it tells me what I really wanted to understand from its definition. This response could be anything from expressing interest in learning more about your offer, providing feedback on your email content, or simply acknowledging receipt of your email. It's important to note this is just an email, so it's disclaiming its output. Okay, but I just want to understand. So that's kind of the textbook definition. I want to make sure I'm in alignment with that, understanding what it means by that. And then it's just a couple of generic tips here about how to improve all that stuff. So I wanted to kick this up a notch. I thought, okay, wait a second. Now maybe instead of the number of touch points or emails, what if? So that's I would say it's a vertical enhancement in my approach. I thought, what if this is based on something I was touching on in my newsletter that just coming out this week, was infinite, or I would say using AI to really drill into the niching or the segmentation or sub-segmentation of your list. And I wanted to put that task to the test here. So what I did, I have a list of a whole bunch of the contacts my LinkedIn contacts, basically. So I download that list off LinkedIn, and I have this as a file. All right. I was able to upload that file into this engine, and I gave it a job to do. I said, based on that list of LinkedIn contacts, who are in the marketing industry within the state of Florida, how would you recommend I segment this group of contacts into approximately 10 niches, however you want to say, or specializations, so that I can more effectively send them messages? So it thunked about it, and it came out with this wonderful little response. To segment your stuff, blah, 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 blah. Here's 10 specializations. Digital marketing specialists, social media managers, content, blah, blah, blah. So it's talking about all these different things. So it gave me the categories. I thought, okay, this is great. But now I want to use this as a platform to build that list. I want it to go and process the list. Tell me Bob Smith is a graphic designer. Tell me that Joe Blow is a marketing automation specialist, whatever the case may be. I want it to go through that, so then the list will be segmented, it'll be defined. So that being said, I tried this a few ways, and I just couldn't get it to give me a quality output. So you can see here, I tried three times, 3 different ways I asked it for an output. So the first time it came back and it gave me a kind of a generic, well, here's how you could make a list. Well, I know how to make a list. That's what I'm telling you. I want you to go through the entire list and make that output. You know what? Like, I just told you to do it, but you didn't understand my instruction. So that was disappointing. Okay, so then the second time, I tried to refine that list, and this time I decided I'm going to try a different model. So the way I've got my server set up, like if you go into ChatGPT, you'll have ChatGPT -3, and that 3 means it's a model number. That's how they've versioned out their stuff. So they got 3, then they had 4, and now they're at 4.0, and there's more kinds that you can choose. On my server, I've got a bunch of other ones that are, I would say, focused and specialized on different tasks. For instance, this model here, Granite 3 Dense, this was built by IBM. It's a model that I found very good success with this type of task. And then there's another model I wanted to try, Llama 3 Win. This one's pretty good for a lot of purposes like this. And it gave a better list, but it wasn't really real names. So I'm like, well, that's kind of useless. No, thank you. And then finally I said, you know what? Let's forget this. I'm going to pick one of the models that writes software code. All right, let's get a little more creative here. I said, give me a Python script. Python's a programming language. To use that list of contacts. Create a new CSV file. So a little spreadsheet with 4 columns. I want the ID field from the original list so I can match it back up. I want the first name, the last name, so I can read it, see who those people are. And then the last column, I want your determination of what each of those 10 categories for each of those contacts falls into best. And it said, sure, here's a script, a little Python script. It wrote the code, gives me a nice little explanation, tells me how to install the extra modules I need. Perfect. We're going to try that. I want to see if this works. So I'm going to copy this over here. And I got a couple of windows here all ready to go here. So I'll put this up in this box here. So let's start by just saving this to a place where we can access it. File save as. All right, so D, I'm going to go to my temp folder. And let's give this a name called list py. All right, so I created this file. Now I do know that it's using this file name LinkedIn contacts. Well, I gave it a different name. So I'm going to update that first. Marketing Florida. There we go. Copy that. Let's put that in here because I want to make sure it's going to find the file. Otherwise, we're not going to go nowhere fast. So in one of the prior versions, what it did is it kind of said, hey, focus on those who are this. It gave me some kind of textual rules. And I think it was in this second version. So here's this version here. This is the one that the Llama model came out with. And said, here's some examples. But it said, here's the explanation for each category. All right, this was actually kind of useful for me because it says classified, okay, John Smith is classified as a digital marketing services specialist because his title is this and his work does that. And there's blah, blah, blah. And so it goes through every single one of these 10 examples that are made up. I don't think these are real names. If they are and these are wrong, I apologize. So I wanted to come back to this idea of writing a code, and so it's basically done the same thing and says, okay, well, if these names, their titles match this, then it should go ahead and output their information. So actually, I'm not going to open the spreadsheet because it's got actual people's names, so I don't want to do anything weird here. But let's give this a shot. I might have to blur some of this out here, but I'm going to give this a run here. All right, so blah, blah, blah. List.py, that's what I want. So Python, list.py. I'm going to see if this code works right off the bat or not. Okay, it's got bugs. All right, well, that's unfortunate. What is the bug? It says panda's not... Oh, yeah, it told me... How smart is that? Copy. Paste that. Let's install this pandas module. Alright, it says it's already satisfied. Well, let's go try this again. What did I should say... Oh, that's so sad. I wanted it to work for a shot. Okay, so, right. File, blah, 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 and get lock, return, self, and key error title. So it's saying title is not found. So it's trying to find the title in this file. I'm going to open this up off screen here for a second. And let's see what's in that file. Title, profile link, job title. I think that's why, because it's not totally smart. So it's made a little bug there. So row, it's gonna find job underscore title. Let's try that, just changing the column name. See if that fixes it. Still no bueno. Row title and a different. Float object has no attribute lower. Float. Title, row, job title. I'm going to open this up off screen again. So it looks like it was just more of a formatting issue. Let's just make sure that is the case. Well, I don't want this. All right. Well, let's just try this. Stir. Let's convert that over. Python. All right, now it works. Perfect. Okie doke. There. The moment of truth. So I'm going to do this again. So just for the sake of science, I'm going to take this, copy this, paste it au naturel. Now I want to, I'm going to back in here, directory, here, start.py. So I have, start.csv. All right, once again, I'm going to copy this in and take that. And I will put this here. That's great. So now I know that it's got the right file. And I will put this into this to force it into a string data type. And then, what else did I change? Oh yeah, job title. See, it's not 100% perfect. It was not quite perfect because it didn't catch the column name and the data types. And this is actually common programming issues. Job title. Oh, you have to save the file, Tim. Otherwise, it's not going to record it. All right, there you go. So it says it's outputted this file here. Let's go take a look. I want to know. I want to know if this worked. All right. So everyone's other. Looks like the whole file is other. Well, that's kind of useless. If they're all other, how am I going to use this list for marketing? Dubious. Dubious. All right, so I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to say, based on extend that script to include totals by category. Let's see if we can get this. So the bugs were, didn't pick up the proper column name. It didn't realize the data type could be non-string. And it was comparing this lowercase version of the title that is getting out of the list against a mixed case thing. So the name consulting and uppercase consulting are different as far as the computer is concerned. So that would be an issue. All right, let's see. We got kind of about this far before. Yeah, it's going to work out now. Just needed to expand some of those parameters there so that we had more working memory. So one of the things about these AI models is that for each of these chat sessions, like I mentioned, you're inputting information. It's remembering what you've already said and how you've interacted with it. So it's kind of creating a buffer of stuff. So it gets full. And so then it gets confused and then it won't work right sometimes. So one of the two things is you open up a new chat and you can start fresh and kind of bring it up to speed quicker, and then just kind of carry it forward. Or it can, in this type of a platform, I have the ability just to up the parameter. So by default, it's got these basic numbers here. I just bumped them all up, and it seemed to give it enough enough juice to kind of ramp it forward. So that was good. All right, so let's see what it's done differently here. It's got the categories to apply all this stuff here. Let's see here. Is there any other bugs? Category total. Segmented. All right, let's go for it then. All right, perfect. All right, well, that's that's much more litmus. All right, so 2,300 others. Well, that's not super great. But I will tell you this. This did prove out a couple of things. I mean, I let the thing go and give me some code, other than a couple minor things here, like this it's missing the field name, missing the data types. I would say this is at the quality of an intermediate programmer, with a couple of mistakes that a junior programmer would make. So I'm actually kind of impressed that this is actually this good of a quality. The code actually worked. And I think that's the one takeaway I will have. And from a a specialist standpoint, looking at the code here, I'm telling you that this is my assessment. I feel like this is like a code quality that a junior to intermediate programmer could produce, which isn't too bad. I mean, look at the time we spent here. We're just on this one video here, making some changes to it, and it goes on the fly. Interactive. I mean, I couldn't get a programmer to go back and figure that out, those extra steps. If they were kind of new to Python, at the junior intermediate level, they'd have to go look it up, do a Google search, figure some stuff out. I mean, you saw me. I even had to pop into something to figure out how to force the data type for this string here. Same thing they would have to do. Oh, how do I do the totals, and what are these data frames? I mean, they're using this new pandas thing. If I don't know about pandas, whatever that is, we don't have to know. You'd have to do some research, figure it out, check out, and learn it, figure it out. But anyways, we got our answers here. So at least from a technological advancement standpoint, I think there's some success here. What this tells me is that the data isn't supporting this use case. So that's a business decision I can make from this. I need to dig deeper. I need to analyze these profiles in a different way to find out what does these data tell me about these things. And I think I'll take a little more deeper dive. All right, come on, you can do it. All right, here it goes. So I just want to grab this. Oh my goodness, slow. All right, grab that, baby. Save it. Let's run this again. Let's compare the results. Well, a little bit. Well, a little bit better, not by much. I mean, we got 46 graphic designers. Oh, I didn't also. Oh, yeah, it is too lower. That's so fine. Okay. Marketing consultant agency. 79. So we lost a couple there. Automation specialist 6. Yeah, same. DMS, and then just some trinkets here. 22.95. I don't know. Where did they go? Kind of lost some here. 523141. Graphic designer. Oh, I see. Yeah, graphic designer changed quite a bit. It went from 9 to 46. So I guess from a list standpoint, to start with, I would pull out the graphic designer, consultant agency, and the digital marketing specialist, and at least those ones are close to a category I could say. But I was really hoping to see something that'd be a little bit more concrete, like breaking down this other somehow. Unfortunately, the list I have here, I know that there's a lot of name, like the titles are owner, founder, things of that nature. Well, let's try this. Business owner. Actually, let's do this. Entrepreneur. Founder, co-founder, CEO, president, and what else do I see here? Owner. Let's try that, and I'll give it another shot here. Dang. All right, let's go here. See what happens. No change because I didn't save it. All right. What do we got here? Oh yeah, big difference here. So entrepreneur, 1600. All right. Well, actually more accurately reflects the list at least. That's actually kind of interesting. So that actually tells me this actually is working pretty slick. It's just that so now it comes back to the fundamental issue in all these types of exercises is the data quality. Your list quality is king. So recapping here, we've learned a couple of really important things. One, AI can understand what the heck you're talking about. Two, we can get it to define business rules, like we saw a prior example, where it was trying to help me as a user go through and manually kind of do the work to categorize these people. Number three, it creates decent code, junior, intermediate level, I'd say as a Python programmer. If I tried maybe some other languages, it might do better. I don't know. We'll have to try it. Could be a better result in a different learning language model. That could be the case as well. Furthermore, it took on some changes that I incorporated, and it worked pretty good here in terms of getting the results I was looking for. The output here, of course, is kind of fundamentally pivotal on the quality of the data I fed it, so I can't really blame it for doing that the way it did. I gave it a bunch of people's names who are founder, co-founder, and it actually accurately broke them out. And I've only got 700 in this other category, and I maybe could take a look at that and analyze that further. But I think my list it's telling me my list is very diverse, right? So I need to either incorporate more values into that list. So I can find ways to segment them. If I want to get really fancy, I could probably scrape people's profiles and kind of assess it from there, because it would have more data to churn through. But that's a lot of extra effort for what this is all about. Anyways, I think this is a resounding success. I learned that this thing can do some junior to intermediate programming. I also know that I need to edit and review it, test it, make sure the QA is there. I would say probably for any kind of written output, like content-wise, also needs to be reviewed. So it's actually quite cool. We've accomplished a lot of things in this session here, so I hope this was valuable to you. If you'd like to hear a little bit more about what we're up to after this, how you can incorporate some of this technology into your world, I'd love to have a conversation with you. Hit me up at sushiwithtim.com. That's my calendar. TimOnLinkedIn.com. That's where you can find me on LinkedIn. So again, this is Tim McKay, Alleviate Risk. Hope you have a wonderful day.